conservative new media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world. What's going on? This is the comments video number 2, and it comes after game number 56, in which Houston beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in a huge win. And so I'm responding to comments mostly from that video, although there are a couple of comments that came from the first comments video as well that I'm going to do in this video. Now, I'm sorry, I wanted to do this yesterday, but I just didn't get a chance to do it. I was kind of wrapped up with something else, and I just didn't have an opportunity to do it, but we'll do it now before tonight's game number 57 against the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn, New York City, New York. Thomas Robinson, Tyler Honeycutt, and Francisco Garcia have gotten their physicals done. Now, a physical is just, you have to get checked out by a doctor so that after you're traded or something that you're cleared to play with the new team. And so they've done that, and they're in New York. But the players that were traded for those guys, Patrick Patterson, Cole Aldrich, and Tony Douglas, have not had a chance to do their physicals yet. What that means is that our new guys on the Rockets can't play yet until the other guys that are now going to Sacramento have had their physicals done. The players on our team on the Rockets can't play. So we'll see. Kevin McHale, I was reading something in the Houston Chronicle, I believe, from Jonathan Feigen. Kevin McHale was saying, look, the guys didn't participate in the shoot-around today. Again, the shoot-around is like, it takes place on the same day as a game. You go early to the arena you're playing at, and you just kind of, everybody comes, they shoot, they just take jump shots and kind of lightly warm up. You talk about maybe strategy a little bit, and just make sure everybody's there and everybody's accounted for. Those guys did not get to participate in shoot-around. And so Kevin McHale was saying, look, I like to have guys do shoot-around before I play them. So even if the Sacramento guys get cleared before tonight's game, meaning Aldrich, Douglas, and Patrick Patterson get their physicals, then we still might not see these guys play tonight, which is too bad, which means, Houston will be shorthanded again. But at least they're with the team. That was pretty quick. Sometimes it takes players several days to get with their team, but all of these guys came quickly. So that's good to see, and it means, they're probably excited to play with this team. I don't want to be rude here, but if I played for Sacramento and I was going to Houston, I'd be pretty excited too, given all the stuff around Sacramento this year. They're struggling. They're going to be sold. It looks like they might move to Seattle. So I'm sure those guys are probably pretty happy to join a team that's currently in a playoff chase. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they could get a little bit of time tonight, but based upon what Kevin McHale said and based upon the guys that we traded away not having physicals yet, that it's probably not going to happen. I will fix the timestamp thing soon. I gave it a shot in the Game 56 video, but it didn't work. And it's just something I never did it before. So I just have to learn how to do it properly, which isn't that complicated. I don't know, take me a day or two, but I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. Thanks for YouTubes for telling me that it wasn't working, because I didn't know, because a lot of times as a partner, you're not really supposed to watch your own videos. And so I couldn't go there and check it out. And I'll talk more about the timestamp thing in just a little bit here, because I know different people are commenting on that. Just something else, in the first comment video, I talked about my background, and I'm just going to mention something else here quickly, because I get asked this a bunch as well. People always ask me, Paul, why do you talk so slow? A lot of times I will talk pretty slowly. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I have some issues with my mouth. Like, I have some spaces in between my teeth and stuff. And so if I talk really quickly, it'll whistle like, So I try to avoid that by talking a little bit slower. That's one reason. Second reason is I have bad allergies and stuff. And so like my breathing isn't always that great. So sometimes I just got to kind of slow down so that my breathing is okay. I mean, sometimes you hear me like, this type of stuff. So that's another reason. A third reason, and an important reason, is that I try to speak slower so that people that aren't native English speakers can understand what I'm saying. As you guys know, and we're very aware of this because we get to look at the information about our videos, enormous part of the people that watch these JLin videos are not from the U.S. So we just try to take that into account. I mean, a lot of people are not familiar with English, or they're not, it's not their first language. And so like if I was listening, I speak some Spanish, but if I was listening to a video in Spanish, then I would hope the person would talk slower, because if they don't, I'm not going to understand it. And we've gotten a lot of comments about that in the past. If you were listening to our videos about Jeremy last year, I used to actually have a portion of the video where I would say, look, I'm going to talk slower for non-native speakers. And I get a lot of feedback saying, hey, thanks a lot. Really glad that you do that. And I remember one person in particular who was from Asia, and they would listen to the videos I did, and they would listen to the videos that John did. John talks very quickly. And be like, I can't understand John's videos. Not because he's unintelligible, but just because he speaks fast. And so for somebody that's not used to speaking English or listening to English, it's difficult. So we're just trying to make it so hopefully everybody can understand it as well as possible. So that's probably the biggest reason why I speak more slowly. Finally, I write notes when I do these videos, but I don't have a script. Now, I used to write a script. If people remember from the videos last year, I would write out a full script and just read it, because then I didn't have to think, and it just made it simpler, but it took too long, and it would make the video take longer to get up. And so now I just do notes, like bullet points. And so I have to think about what I'm saying. If I'm going to come up with some analogy or something like this or comparison, I just have to think about it. So that's another reason why I speak a little slower at times. Okay, let's get to the comments. Now, like I said, most of these are from the Game 56 video, but a couple of the ones at first were actually from the first comments video. And that's what you find when you do comments videos, is that you do a comments video because you didn't get a chance to respond to the comments from the other video. But then when you do a comment video, you get more comments on the comment video, and then you have to respond to those too. So it's kind of like a little cycle that never ends. But that's what we like. Like I said, I love doing the videos, so it's fun. I'm glad you guys comment a lot. The interaction is what it's all about. I mean, that's why YouTube is social media. Okay, APC GAM 24. Thanks for the props on my education. Look, John and I are, as I said, are very fortunate. We're thankful that we're able to go to good universities, and that's good. However, this is important, and this is just one of these non-basketball things that I go to sometimes in the videos. Going to a quote-unquote great school is overrated, in my opinion, or it's often overrated. What you end up paying for, because these schools are expensive, as we all know. I mean, the tuitions are raising, and they're rising up, so it's getting more and more difficult. And there's the student debt crisis, in the college student debt crisis here in the United States, and I'm sure it's an issue in other nations as well. What you end up paying for, in my opinion, when you go to these great schools, you end up paying for the name of the school or the brand of the school. And what do I mean by that? When I talk to a lot of people now, and I tell them where I went to college. Say, oh, that's what you're paying for. Now, I'm not going to tell you don't have better professors or whatever like that, but especially now in the internet age, it used to be you go to some of these schools because they have better libraries than other schools, right? Cornell might have a better library than regional state U. But now with the internet and books online, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So what I've found is that what you really get from going to these schools is you get the brand name that you get to carry around with you to your employers. Oh, he went to here and he went to Stanford and Ivy League and this type of thing, which is important. I'm not going to say it's not. I mean, that's what you're paying for, though, really. And you get the networking aspect of it, meaning you get to meet people who are probably going to end up in prominent positions. But I don't think it's that. I really don't think it's that important. So if you're somebody and you're not, you're concerned, you're not getting into the best school, whatever, I wouldn't worry about it. What's more important, in my opinion, is what you know and what you're able to do. You can go anywhere. If you learn stuff, if you learn how to do certain things, if you learn certain skills, if you learn knowledge, then you have it. Now, you might have to convince people a little bit more than someone with the super school name. But once you do that, you're in. So I think a lot of times for the first college, for the first job that you go to after college, that's where it's pretty important, or can be where you went to school, because it makes it easier to get in. Once you get past that, it's about what you can do, and it's about what you know. So I would tell anybody, don't be discouraged. It doesn't matter necessarily where you went to school, or if you didn't go to the best school and someone else from your high school went to the best school, or even if you didn't go to school. There are plenty of successful people who never went to school, never went to college, and never went to or never finished college. There's a number of successful radio hosts that never went to college and are very articulate, intelligent people. Bill Gates didn't finish college. Zuckerberg didn't finish college. So it doesn't matter. But in order for it not to matter, you have to think it doesn't matter. If you believe it matters, then it matters. But once you understand it's not that the end-all, be-all, then it doesn't matter. I've learned much, much more in my life outside of college than I learned in college. Again, I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to go where I went to college, but it's overrated in a lot of ways, so don't worry about it. Fiona Hu of China. Thanks for the nice words, and just dovetailing on the point I just made, you're right. It doesn't matter where I went to college or where anybody else went to college. The thing that's great with John and I, and I don't mean this in we're great way, but we don't judge people. John and I came from small community in western Pennsylvania, farming community. We lived on a farm. It's not about that. It's not about showing off or where'd you go. It's just about, you're a real person. You work hard. You treat other people well. That's why we like Jeremy, because he's like that. Jeremy's not somebody that's going to run around with his Harvard diploma to show off. But he's a smart guy. But he's a nice guy. He's not going to judge other people based upon that. And that's why we like him, and that's the way we are. I don't care where anybody went to college. What do you know and what can you do? The problem is a lot of the people that go to the good colleges, in my opinion, they're high on themselves. They're great and you're not because they went to college where they went to. And I don't get into that. We don't like that. Again, that's one of the reasons why I like Jeremy, because he's not like that. Yeah. omgbygollywow. Thanks for the nice words on the videos. I never have listened to Rockets Cast live, so I can't really comment on them. but I'm sure they do a great job, and I've heard of them. I mean, I've certainly heard them and seen tweets by the guys that do it when I'm over at Clutch Fans. So I'm sure those guys are doing a good job. Sumyamchi, I think the reason why Houston wanted to get Josh Smith is because they really want to get Dwight Howard. And Dwight Howard and Josh Smith are good friends. So I think that was a big part of the reason why they were pursuing Josh Smith, is because there's a larger game at play in that they want Dwight Howard. So we'll see. I'm hearing that they're still going to go after Josh Smith. Houston is this summer. And so we'll see what happens. Look, Josh Smith he has his flaws, but he's a great athlete, and he can play. So, I mean, he's better than the power forwards that we've had. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having him on the team. I mean, he gets some stuff. Oh, he's moody and all this. Look, I'm not worried about that. Not really worried about that, particularly if he came with Dwight Howard. I'm really not worried about it. Joyce Ward, more great comments from you. Thanks a lot for all the information you put down there about JLin and how Adam Silver and the rest of the guys in NBA management were kind of pumping up Jeremy at the All-Star game. Look, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Jeremy is one of the most important and most popular players in the NBA, and he's only getting more popular and more important. A lot of the haters and stuff just don't get that. They don't want to get it. They don't want to believe that, but it's the NBA knows that. The NBA management, they know that. And so I'm glad that Adam Silver said it, because it's very, very true. CraZun from Taiwan, you're right. Houston did improve everything in the Thunder game, and they looked awesome. Woo! Thanks for the comment. And by the way, it is right now about 5:40 a.m. early Saturday, February 23rd in Taipei, Taiwan, as I'm making this video right now, which means it's 3:40 p.m. Friday, February 22nd here in the East Coast of the United States. Zhang Frank 2011, this was a huge win. I think this was the best win of the year. Yes. I mean, this was a key win. As I said, I didn't think they were going to win. And it certainly didn't look like they were going to win with about 7 minutes left. But everything changed then, and that's why this team is, that's why they're at where they're at. mbdubahah. Sorry that you were in class during part of the Thunder game. It was an awesome game, and hopefully you've had a chance to check out the highlights, which I'm sure you've done. Justin Fuller, yep, I did mention you, man, and happy to do so. As I said, I read all the comments, I listen to what everybody's saying, and try to take that into account when I'm doing the videos and remember what people said. And I know you've mentioned Jeremy's crossover a couple different times. And so that's why I mentioned you whenever I talked about the crossover he did, because it was sick. I was like, wow, I'm sure Justin was impressed with that crossover, because I know I was. Tourou Tee, thanks for the props. If you want to know about my background, I would tell you to go to the comments #1 video, which I did just a few days ago after the Game 55 video. The first part of that is all about my background. And like I told you guys, I get asked this all the time. I wasn't making that up. People ask me this all the time, which is cool. I appreciate that. That means, people, hey, where's this guy come from? What's his deal? And usually that means people are interested in me, and so that's great. In short, I've been around basketball pretty much my entire life. I'm 41 years old now, and I've been watching the NBA for 30 years. I played basketball most of my life, and I've done some sports media work starting back in 1997. Well, let me just say this too. In that video, I said that John started in sports media in 1997. That's not quite true. He started earlier than that because I remember him interviewing T.O. Terrell Owens. I remember him interviewing Muggsy Bogues, and Muggsy played with the Golden State Warriors. So I don't remember when John started, but it's even earlier than when I started. I started in 97, and John started even before that. Rizza from Hong Kong, great win against the Thunder. The backcourt of Lin and Harden is going to be great for years, and I love it, man. This is it. It's starting to all come together. MadMaxPaladin, thanks for the props. And look, I'm happy to take the time to talk about Jeremy. These videos are fun for me. I enjoy them. And, just cool. We're all just hanging out talking about J-Lin. HulkHoganBodyslam, I would like to have Josh Smith. As I said, particularly if Dwight Howard comes with him. That would really be great. That would be awesome. And I think that's realistic. I think there's a real chance Dwight Howard's not going to go back to L.A. Now, I know he's talking about he's going back, but we'll see. As we know, Dwight said a lot of things over the last few years, and not all of them came true. So he can change his mind, and I know that he and his team are looking at Houston. I'm sure of that, and I know that just from reading reports. Yeah, look, the surgeon is rolling, and he has really stepped it up on the three-point shots. Thanks for giving that statistic to kind of help point that out. ThyrDrail, yeah, I actually contemplated doing a 3-hour video myself, but then I just kind of settled on a 40-minute video for game number 56. I admit I did slack off there a little bit. Look, this was Lin's best game of the year, probably, given everything that was around this game in terms of how important it was. And again, he did it with James Harden playing. The Spurs game, the 38 points game, was when James Harden wasn't playing. Well, Jeremy did what he did. Even with James Harden scoring 46 points, Jeremy still had 29 points with James Harden doing that. And that's people, it's not going to work. It isn't going to work. They both need the ball in their hands. And that's one thing that's really gone unnoticed here. Jeremy's had to improve a lot in playing without the ball, which is called off the ball, meaning you don't have the ball in your hands. James Harden and Jeremy came into this year both being on-ball players, meaning they want the ball in their hands and they're dribbling. Well, both of them have had to adjust to that, where they don't have the ball in their hand, and they've both done great. Like I said, this is like LeBron and Wade. These guys are improving rapidly, individually and as a team. That's why I'm so excited for this team. These guys are all young. The only guy who's not pretty young on the team is Delfino. And, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. This is being built as a team that is going to contend for years and on a real level, not just make the playoffs, 7th or 8th spot, and then they're gone. This team is going to be there contending for the championship in a few years, especially if they keep going the way they're going right now. And it's great. Yeah, it is sad that Tony Douglas is gone. He's a great guy. He seems like a really nice dude. I know that he was very supportive of Jeremy, and Jeremy was sad to see that him gone. I do think that Patrick Beverley is going to be better in the long term. I think that Patrick Beverley has a little bit more ability than Tony Douglas does. He's not as polished as Tony Douglas is, but I think he might be able to be better than Tony Douglas. And unfortunately, that's part of the business. And you have to make decisions sometimes based on what's going to be best for the team rather than friendships and stuff, which is, it's unfortunate, but that's definitely, that's part of the NBA and all professional sports. William Thomas Hill, Beverly is going to be backing up Jeremy now. Douglas is a great guy, and it is too bad that he had to leave. I think, again, I know Jeremy wasn't really happy about that. But hopefully Tony will be able to get some meaningful playing time in Sacramento, and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to do that, even though they do have a number of point guards there with Isaiah Thomas and Jimmer, and even I think Tyreek can play sometimes. Tyreek Evans plays point at times. Night serve for one, man, that was a great game, wasn't it? That was awesome, and I'm glad that you had the chance to watch all of it because it was fun to watch. Huynherful, the stat lines were crazy in the OKC game. I mean, that was bearded insanity at its very best, and look, that's what it can be. And Oklahoma City is an elite team, and this is what Houston is capable of. This is what Houston is capable of. They're not going to do this every single time out yet, but they can do it already, even in year one. And that is tremendous to see and kind of signals what the future of this team can be. Vickoppa, Linsanity 2.0 and 2.1 have arrived. Let's just keep it rolling tonight, hopefully, and get a win over the Brooklyn Nets. Okay, now let's talk about the timestamps and all this stuff. As I'm looking at the comments from APC Gam, mrRoundeye, Sumyamchi, and H Quatran. Okay, number one, I don't mind doing the timestamps because I often will listen to the videos I do after I put them up. So I think I just go over it just to see how it sounds, because when you make it like I'm making the video right now, you can't listen to it. Like, you don't have a chance to really hear it. And so a lot of times after I put the videos up, I listen to them just to kind of see how it went and see what I can do differently, etc. So I don't have a problem with that. I mean, sometimes they're long, and if it's a late game, I might not be able to do it, or it might take to the next day or whatever, but I don't mind doing it. Number two, what APC GAM24 said, though, is correct. Making the videos does take a lot of time, which is okay. I like it because I like Jeremy, and I like watching basketball, and I like doing the videos, but I can't do everything at once, including the time that it takes to watch the game and take notes. If I'm making, say, a 45-minute video, that's probably going to take me, including watching the game, about 5.5 hours to do it, and then uploading it and everything. So it does take a long time. Now, if you add in doing the timestamp stuff and that afterwards, then you're probably talking about 6.5, 7 hours to do it. So there is a lot of time expenditure for me in it. But I will do the timestamps because I think it's a good idea. It's a good idea. And if you say, a week from now, you want to go back and listen to the video again, then you can just kind of, if the links are there, you can just go to the point that you want to go to instead of having to look it up. Even with what I did and it didn't work with the numbers and the times there, that still helps you, because then you can just advance to that point and you don't have to waste time looking for it. And I think that's good. I mean, it's like a book having an index. If you can do an index, do it. So I don't mind doing it. I still need to learn how to do the timestamps properly. Give me a day or two and I'll figure it out. And it does take time, and it will take time after I put up each video to do the timestamps. So if you're waiting to watch the version of the video with the timestamps, then you're going to have to wait a couple hours. I think a lot of people probably won't wait for that. But again, I think it will be useful for people who go back to the videos later and want to listen to a particular part. That's where I think the timestamps will be useful. And I'm cool with that. As I said, I can only do so much at once. And that's how it's going to have to be. Okay, H Quatran, the timestamps aren't killing me. I'm okay. As much as I can complain about my health and all this stuff, I'm a pretty tough dude. JDV and I are old school that way. Pretty rough, pretty tough. So I'm okay. I'm here. And look, I'm not going to do anything that I can't do. If I can't do it, I won't do it. But when I can do it, I will. It just might take a little bit more time. And as I said, I can only get so much done at once. So people will just have to be patient with that. And the videos do take a long time, and I am only one person. So I'll do the time stamping when I can do it. And that'll probably be a few hours after the video's up, or possibly the next day. Sumyamchi and mrRoundeye. Look, I appreciate that you guys said that I'm an elite game commenter. I do appreciate that. Look, I say this about that. I know what I'm talking about. I understand the game pretty well. I don't know everything about the game. There are things I don't know, and there are things I will miss. But what I know it well, just because I've gone over it and I've done it, playing the game or watching the game or analyzing the game. I need to learn more about the game. I need to learn more with advanced statistics that have come up recently, and I need to learn more about like defensive and offensive sets that are used at the pro level. I mean, there are things that I played in, certain types of offenses and defenses that aren't the same as the pro level. So I need to learn more of that, like some of the terminology and such and so. But I'm working on that, and so that hopefully I can give you guys the best analysis that's out there. Okay, excuse me, mrRoundeye, you're right. These are basically podcasts. These videos, they're just done in a video format, and given what I'm doing with these videos, that's probably the best format for now. If I added in video content, like you see in some other videos, then it would take it a lot longer for me to do these videos, or I'd have to make the videos shorter. I don't have the top-end computer equipment right now, and we'll work on that. I'll get better stuff, but given that these videos are pretty long, and then I try to get them up relatively shortly after the games are done, that would mess all of that up. It would take them a lot longer. I wouldn't be able to do them maybe until the next day, and I don't think that's what people want. I'd rather do it more in the way that I'm doing it right now. I think this is probably the best format for these types of videos at this point in time. As meichuchen mentioned, she will download the videos and then convert them into MP3s that she can listen to. I think that's a great idea. I do that with videos I like, particularly like just stuff where it's a video that I don't have to watch the video. It's something I can listen to. I will do that. I'll convert it to an MP3, and then I can listen to it on an iPod or something while I'm working out or doing something else. I think that's a great idea if you're able to do that. APC GAM, Jeremy's stats are starting to pump up, and that's exactly what we want to see. So we love that, and the stats are getting better and better, and he's getting better and better. Andy Lee, thanks for the correction on why Jeremy got the technical foul. Several other people pointed this out also, and you guys are right. The reason why I will sometimes miss those types of explanations is because I watch the games with the sound down, and I do that on purpose. I don't want to hear what the announcers have to say, because sometimes what the announcers say can alter your perception of what you're seeing, because sometimes the announcers don't know what they're talking about. And I'm not taking a shot at anybody. I'm not taking a shot at the Rockets announcers or any other team's announcers. I just personally like to watch the game with the sound down, because then I'm getting my own version of what's happening rather than what somebody else thinks is happening. So, but unfortunately, when they explain certain things like why Jeremy got the technical, I don't hear that, and that's where I can sometimes make a mistake. So it's good that you guys correct me on that. Look, Lin is playing with supreme swagger right now. After he hit one of those three-pointers, you could see, he had his mouth open. He was super pumped up going back to the huddle. Everybody was there congratulating him, and he was pumped. This is great, man. This is the same kind of swag that he had during Linsanity 1.0, and I want to see more of it because when you see it, he's playing great and the team's doing well. Look, Jeremy he's getting to that point again. He's feeling confident. He's feeling better in the offense. Again, look how quickly he's adjusted to an offense that, is about as far away from what he was good at coming into this year. And he's doing great. As I've told you guys, I want him to do this offense because then he'll be a complete player. Then he can do any offense. And that's what we're starting to see with him hitting 3-point shots, him being able to play a little bit more off the ball with James Harden controlling the ball. And it's great, man. Like I said, you give him a year or two doing this and he'll be able to dominate in any offense. Albertwayable from Thailand. The trades are done. And Houston got Thomas Robinson, Francisco Garcia, and Tyler Honeycutt from the Sacramento Kings. Houston traded away Patrick Patterson, Tony Douglas, Cole Aldrich, and Marcus Morris. And as I said before, I think this is going to help Houston. I think it's going to help them now, and I think it's going to help them in terms of positioning to try to get players like Dwight Howard and Josh Smith. They actually saved a little bit of money under the salary cap by making this move. I think it's great. MrBorisuri, it was great to see Chandler Parsons coming back from that ankle twist because when he went down, it didn't look good. And that's the one injury that you will see guys do that with. You'll see guys go down from ankle twist like they're not going to come back for weeks. Now, I don't know how Chandler's doing today, but the ankle is the one injury where you will see that and guys come back. But what also happens with ankle twist is after the game and after you take the taping off, then the ankle swells up. And so you might see a guy turn an ankle in a game, look really bad, and then he comes back and finishes the game. But then after the game, ankle swells up and he's out for 2 weeks. I think Chandler is good to go for tonight, but I don't know. But that is one of the unique features of ankle sprains. QQ974, yeah, look, I'd love to have David Lee on this team. David Lee's gotten a lot of flack. A lot of people said, oh, he's just a stats guy, that he puts up empty stats. Well, if you want to put up 10, 11 rebounds a night and that's empty, bring the emptiness on. Bring the emptiness to Houston. I like David Lee. I've always liked him. Obviously, he and Jeremy get along very well because they played together at Golden State and they're friends. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if that's realistic that that's going to happen, but I'd love it if it did happen. David Lee would put to rest very quickly Houston's rebounding problems at the power forward spot, and he can put up some points and shoot the ball. Jose, thanks for the correction on Demo's age. You're right. He is 22, not 20, which is what I've been saying. I don't know how I got that in my head that he was 20, but somehow it got in there and it just stuck, even though it was incorrect. lennyphuquoc from Vietnam, welcome aboard the J-Lin party train. Woo woo! Thanks for watching, man. And look, I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. Go J-Lin, go Rockets. And it's great. You're the first person, I believe, from Vietnam that has commented on this videos. And I think that's awesome. Like I said, look, Jeremy has fans all throughout Asia. Philippines, Taiwan. I don't know why I said that. Philippines, Taiwan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam. I'm sure he's got fans in Laos, Cambodia, all over there and all over the world, because there's a whole bunch of people of Asian descent that are working in different countries like in the Middle East and stuff. So I mean, he's got fans everywhere. Again, this is what the haters don't understand. This guy is huge, and he's only going to get better and bigger. So, like I said, it's great to have you. come in and comment, and welcome aboard. omgbygollywow. Doing the timestamps is not going to slow down getting the videos up because I'm not going to do it until the video is up. Now, I know somebody mentioned, hey, you could make notes while you're doing the recording. Nah, that won't work, and it would definitely slow things down. I'd rather just do it after the fact, and that's what I'm going to do, so don't worry about that. Itamax64 from Hong Kong, Nintendo and Beard definitely rocked it. They sure did. This was a huge win against the Thunder, and look, we're hoping for another big win tonight. ksclinic from Taiwan. Basketball breakdown with Coach Nick is good from everything I've heard. I haven't watched those videos, but I've heard they're really good. And look, he's doing a great job. SB Nation's doing a good job with their YouTube videos, and that's great. You know, the more the merrier. The more that people can help teach other people about basketball, I'm happy. Right now, we're not going to do that type of video for a couple reasons. Number one, his clips are shorter, like, you know, maybe 4, 5, 6 minutes, and I like to do these longer videos. Number two, if I was doing what he's doing in terms of adding the videos and the clips and stuff, that would take me longer to get these videos done, particularly since I'm doing a longer video. In other words, they might not come until like the day after the game rather than the night of the game, which is what I'm trying to do. Which is a challenge sometimes even now because I'm making the videos longer. So I don't really want to get into that. Number three, the equipment that I'm using is probably not as good as what Coach Nick is using. So he might be able to process and render a video quicker than I can. So I just have to work with what I have right now. But, you know, I'll keep working to improve the material and the equipment that I have. The fourth reason, and this is important for John and myself, we're really careful about copyright issues, meaning using other people's video clips. John's law education is in intellectual property, which is, you know, like high-tech copyright and stuff like this. So we try to be really tight about not using stuff very much. Now, there will come a time, and there's fair use and these types of things. We'll increase that. We'll do more stuff like that, or we want to do more stuff like that in the future. But right now, we're just not doing a lot with that just because we don't want to have any issues with that. There are a lot of people who are, and I'm not saying that Coach Nick is one of these people or anybody in SB Nation. There are a lot of people who will use a lot of video clips, maybe more than they should. And so John and I are just trying to be really careful with that in general and certainly right now. All that being said, John and I have talked about doing that type of video specifically, and it is something we're going to look at doing. So I would tell you, stay tuned because we will continue to improve what we're doing and our product. We're always looking at that. It's the same way I didn't have any problem with what H. Quatrans said about doing the timestamps. We want to improve. We want to provide videos that people like, and we want to be, we want to do the best that we're capable of doing, and have the best videos that we can. We've been asked this before by other people if we would do those types of videos like basketball breakdowns. So, like I said, stay tuned. We will continue to work to be able to expand what we offer. Although I don't think that's going to happen in the near term. I don't think that's going to happen in the next month or two, but we will look at doing more of it beyond that. Kwok Wai Lai from Hong Kong. Houston is a mentally tough team. And that's one of the reasons why I believe that Houston's going to make the playoffs. This was a gritty win, and it was an important one. Like I said, the Lakers are starting to play well. And I think there's a good chance the Lakers are going to get in the playoffs. And Houston doesn't want the Lakers to get in the playoffs over them. So Houston needs to continue to play well and continue to win. And that's why the Oklahoma City game was so important. Iron Dick, you're right. J-Lin did get more playing time in the Oklahoma City game because the team was short on players from the trades. And it worked out great, and hopefully Coach McHale will learn the lesson from that. That being said, Jeremy played like 42 minutes. Nobody plays that many minutes. I mean, if you look at the leaders in minutes per game, I think the number one guy is like at 40 minutes a game. So you don't want to play too many minutes. But it was nice to see Jeremy get extended minutes. Now, what you were saying about Jeremy and how popular he is, I've said it before, and I will say it here now. Len is cash money. I've said this too. He's like a walking bank for the NBA and for the Rockets. I think that's one of the reasons why the owner got him, because he understood, having dealt with Yao, how huge basketball is in Asia, and it's only getting bigger. I'm telling you right now, if you watch any NBA game, any of them, not including Jeremy, you look at the people seated in the first couple rows, you're going to see a lot of Asian people or people of Asian descent. I think that's phenomenal, but it just shows you how important basketball is becoming in the Asian culture. That's the way I interpret it. It's getting bigger and bigger. And what that means is more revenues for the NBA, more advertising, and soon, I don't know how long it's going to take, but it won't take too long. Pretty soon, you're going to start seeing more Jeremy Lins. You're going to start seeing more players of Asian descent that are going to be NBA level players. That's coming soon. I would say it won't take any more than 10 years. We've seen a few. We've seen Yao. We've seen Jeremy. I can't remember. Can't remember the other guy, the tall guy that I'm going to say Jai Wai. I can't remember his name right now, so it just left me. He played for the Warriors and he played for the Mavericks. You're going to see more players soon. I'll give you a perfect example of how this works. Lithuania. Lithuania is a small country. It's like 3 million people, something like that. It's not very big. Lithuania has provided a number of different NBA players. And the reason why is because basketball is huge there. And I think the reason why it's huge there is because they got good coaching early. Like they did clinics or stuff over there years, decades ago. And so it grew. And so once a sport is big in a region, pretty soon you're going to start seeing players come from there. And they've been any number of Lithuanian players that have been in the NBA. Some very good players. Arvydas Sabonis, who wasn't as good once he came to the NBA as he was in his youth, but he was still good. Sabonis, Šarūnas Marciulionis, that played for the Warriors. He was a tremendous player. And now you got Valanciunas for Toronto. There's been a whole bunch of guys. That same phenomenon is going to happen soon for Asian countries. You're going to start seeing more Jeremy Lins, more Yao Mings. So keep your eyes out for that because it's growing in importance. The game is in various Asian cultures. So pretty soon you're going to see more Asian players. And that's great. Like I said, I'm an NBA fan. I want the game global. I want everybody to participate. And it's coming. And as you said, Jeremy is like, he's at the front line of that. And that's why he's so important to what the NBA is doing. The haters can't stand that. They can't stand that. But they know it's true, even though they won't admit it. just as Joyce Ward pointed out, the NBA understands it 100%. They know it because they're getting the revenues. Look, we love Jeremy, and again, these videos do well. And we were on the train early, and we like him. And it's. I knew what Jeremy could be, and people will tell you that. You remember, but you guys know if you listen to these videos earlier in this year, when Jeremy was coming back from the knee. Oh, he's not gonna. Maybe. No. Jeremy can be a star. Jeremy can be a superstar. That's one of the things that I am good at in terms of analyzing in basketball. I could see when a player's got real talent. Jeremy, you could see it. And Lin Sanio was a fluke. No, it wasn't. Lin Sanio 1.0 was not a fluke. And it was always there. And so I'm not surprised. And I'm happy. Look, Jeremy's 24. He's just getting started. Yeah, he's never going to be super jumper guy, mega dunker man. He's never going to be Russell Westbrook. But it doesn't matter. There's been so many great players that weren't athletes like that. So, I mean, Jeremy is doing great. And he always had the ability, and he always had the clutch mentality. He just needed a chance to show it, and that's what happened last year in New York. And it's only going to get bigger. Just like Adam Silver said, Adam Silver is the guy that's almost certainly going to be the next commissioner of the NBA starting this year when David Stern steps down. Adam Silver understands how important Jeremy Lin is, and that's all you need to know. Ip Diana from Hong Kong, it is great to see that Jeremy has started a foundation to help other people. He's already a world star, and he's only going to get bigger. I agree. I think that Jeremy is using his fame for good, which is something that not everybody else does that gets famous. So it's great to see it. Again, that's part of a big part of why we like Jeremy. And it is cool to know that he plays a piano. I didn't realize that, but it doesn't surprise me either. Quick story for the Hong Kong fans. When I was in college, I had a great girlfriend. I'm not going to give her name, but she was from Hong Kong. She was a Korean woman, but she lived in Hong Kong. And I remember we talked about it, and I almost, I never got really close, but I almost had a chance to go over there and visit with her. But unfortunately, that didn't happen at that time. But, maybe one day I would love to get over there and visit Hong Kong and Macau and all around there. But I've loved Hong Kong from a long time ago, from spending time with this young woman, and it's always fascinated me. Hong Kong seems awesome. Jaxkewl Robinson is an athlete, and Francisco Garcia is a shooter. So the trade will help give Chandler Parsons a backup small forward. Now, we know Delfino was kind of playing backup shooting guard and small forward. Now you've got Delfino and Garcia, so you got two legit backups, although Delfino is now playing basically starting power forward, which is wild because they're playing small ball with Patterson and Morris gone. But Garcia will help, and Robinson is the kind of guy who can just run up and down the floor and jump well. He's an athlete, and he's going to fit in with Houston well. The only issue with Thomas Robinson is that he needs to work on his pick and roll offense. On the other hand, as we know, Houston's offense isn't built around the pick and roll, so that's not necessarily going to be a huge deal. I think that overall, Robinson is going to help make Houston more athletic and a more up-tempo team, which is exactly what they want to be. I don't know how his shooting is. I don't think he's the type of shooter that Marcus Morris and Patrick Patterson is, a three-point shooter, but he's definitely more of an inside guy than those two are, and I think he's going to help. I'm happy with this. I think people are really going to like Thomas Robinson when they get a chance to see him play. And remember, he's a rookie. I mean, he's raw. He needs to work on some things, but he can play. Now, there are a lot of people that think he's a bust because he was a number 5 overall pick. But he was playing in a bad situation in Sacramento. Just, there's a lot of criticism about the owners in Sacramento. And of course, there's all the turmoil this year because are they going to Seattle or are they going to stay in Sacramento? And it's not a good situation. And I think Thomas Robinson is going to be a good player. As I mentioned before with him, to me, Thomas Robinson would be a perfect power forward if he were about 2 inches taller. He's about, again, barefoot, he's probably 6'7.5". He could be a little bit taller. But he's big. I mean, he's physical. He's muscular. He's an excellent jumper. And he's an athlete. He can run. And that's what Houston wants to do. And I think he's going to fit really well. And in a year or two, he can really be good. Is he going to be with us then? I don't know. Like I said, we might get Josh Smith or somebody else. But we are going to have to play small ball right now because I don't think they want to start Thomas Robinson. And I'm not sure that Demo's ready to start either. So we're going to be doing some of what Miami does in terms of smaller guys with more skill. And that's, that can hurt at times. But thank goodness Omer is a monster rebounder. I mean, he'll gobble up anything. So you don't necessarily need big guys. Look, it worked against Oklahoma City. And we're going to have to see what happens. And hopefully Thomas Robinson will be ready to put in some meaningful minutes soon so that if we are having problems with size, we can put Thomas Robinson in and kind of, get that under control. What Jeremy needs to work on now is being consistent. And I think if Diana pointed that out, he's improving on everything. Shooting, ball handling, decision-making, fitting in the Houston offense, etc. Now, the next step is trying to get consistent performance, consistent 15-7, 9 in, 9 out. Look, he's doing much better with that. That's people point out the stats. You take out the first month or whatever, look at what his stats are. So he's getting there. He's doing great. I can't really ask a lot more from him right now, but that's what I would tell him to do. Be consistent. And if I had to pick one thing to have him keep working on, one specific thing, keep working on driving to the lane and finding ways to finish shots over taller guys. Keep working on the teardrops, the floaters, the runners. Now, a teardrop is like a super high floater. A floater you arc up. A teardrop's like really high up. It's just, and again, it's basically a super floater. Keep working on that. That's the area of his game that he's still struggling to translate from college. Now, we saw it a lot in Linsani 1.0 with because he's doing pick and roll. So he's sometimes getting open run to the basket. What he needs to do now is find a way to consistently score on drives over the second defender. And keep working, on. He's still good at beating his man off the dribble, but he can keep working on that. Keep working on your driving offense. Work on beating your man and work on finishing over a second defender. That's the thing I would tell him to work on. Look, I mean, before I would have said to him, keep working on your three-point shooting, but that's just, it's going through the roof. I mean, he's shooting great right now. Now, he's still going to have to work on the offseason, but that's doing great. So I would tell him, work on your driving offense right now. Meichuchen, thanks for the nice words, and I'm happy to work hard on these videos. I do like to mention where people are from when they are from outside of the United States, just to let other viewers know how many fans that Jeremy has worldwide, and to make people feel welcome in the discussions. I know that a lot of people who speak English as a second language, they're shy about commenting. Maybe they don't think their English is that good or whatever. So I want people to feel welcome, and I want to encourage them to comment. You're seeing more of that, like Chuzan and Lenny from Vietnam. So it's just fun. Look, it's a small world, and we're all Jeremy Lin fans. And like I said, not everybody does speak English as a first language. So what? Reach out, comment. We're going to understand you, I'm sure. And then it'll get easier and easier. So it's a lot of fun. Alivfishland from China. It's a good observation on where Jeremy shot that 3 against Oklahoma City. And that was a similar spot against the Heat. And you're right. He said he'd hit the next one, and that's exactly what he did. Look, Jeremy is a tough-minded, clutch player. And it's just great. The haters are panicking and fading away and crawling under rocks, as we know that they do once he has these big games. And I was on Clutch Fans, and some of the Lin-only haters over there is the way they call them, LOH. They're still trying to come up with rationalizations. It was just one game. No, come on. But, one big game like this always pushes them back into the darkness for a couple games. So, great. We'll see more and more of it to come, I'm sure. Surpreet Singh Bal from India, thanks for the nice words. And it is great to see Jeremy start the foundation. As we mentioned above, Jeremy started his own Jeremy Lin Foundation. And, he wants to help other people. He's a very religious person, and he believes in helping other people. And like I said, that's a big part of why we like him. He's just a good dude. And it's great that he's doing that and he's having the opportunity to do it. Jack713, huge win and a huge comeback. This team is for real, and they're only going to get better going forward if they can just stay healthy, which is looking pretty good right now. Tonyzuki Z, thanks for all the kind words. I'm glad you enjoy the videos and that you like my personality. I really appreciate that, and I hope that you'll continue to enjoy all of the extra non-basketball talk that I usually do include in these videos, just to kind of keep them interesting and keep them flowing. William Thomas Hill, who lives in Japan. Look, I'm happy to do the videos, and I hope everything's good in Japan. Look, I love Japan. I have a really good friend when I was in middle school who was from Japan, and he was a phenomenal athlete. I remember he was telling me about the routine that he did when he was in Japan, and the athletic routine and all these gymnastics and stuff. Man, that guy was incredible. He was a real muscular guy, and he could run. He's just amazing. I haven't spoken with him in a long time. I got to try to get back in touch with him, but I've always admired the Japanese, just the culture and the history. Same with China, same with a lot of Asia. And so it's great. I hope you're enjoying it over there in Japan. jaxkewl, people do like Jeremy and the videos about him. So the videos usually do pretty well. Now, overall, our site traffic is a bit down recently, and that's because we're not doing as many videos as we used to do. John's a bit busier right now, and I just haven't had the opportunity to do it in the last 2 months. But that will change. We'll get back to doing more volume of videos as we used to do. But Jeremy's videos always do well, just because he's huge, and we certainly are. That's great because we like doing videos about him, so it works out perfectly. I think the idea that you had about commenters doing timestamps is great. If people want to do that, go for it. I know you can do that in comments. I just don't know how to do it. But I'll figure it out, like I said, soon enough. You're right. The Morris twins now may fool some people in the Phoenix Suns organization and in Phoenix because the twin brothers and they are playing on the same team. Now, I'm happy for Marcus. I'm sure he didn't want to leave Houston, but, at least he does get to be with his brother, which is really cool. And that's good. Okay, this was fun, and I'm sure it was a pretty long video. I'm looking at it right now. It's an hour and 5 minutes. Look, we're looking forward to the game tonight. It's going to take place in about 3 hours from now as I'm looking at the time right now. We're hoping for some Lin Standing 2.0 to continue rolling and another big Rockets win. Well, I'll talk with you guys soon, and thanks again for being great viewers and commenters and making this a lot of fun for myself and JDV. We really appreciate that. You guys give us a lot of props and shout outs, but we feel the same way about you guys. As other people have mentioned, it's a lot more fun to interact with people than to just kind of dictate videos and there's no interaction. The interaction is what makes it fun. That's what makes it more enjoyable and kind of builds the sense of community and bonding that everybody feels. So awesome, and again, appreciate that a lot. We'll talk to you soon. Go Rockets. Go J-Lin. Again, leave your comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Information in the video description about who I responded to in this video, and also information so you can come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group. We will talk to you soon. Let's go Houston against the Brooklyn Nets.